So another busy week in the world of rugby, but everyone's tongues got wagging off the back of the $1 million kick. Coming up. Lion, your reaction to my Lions 15. He's actually in pain. Nolly Waterman gives us the top 5 players to look out from around the world. And Ben Foden challenges me to the $1 million kick. So we had incredible rugby in both hemispheres this weekend. Callum Sheedy, who was the Guinness Six Nations Player of the Round last week, bringing that form back to Bristol Bears. And how about this for an assist for their flying winger, Now Lango, who scored a hat-trick at the weekend.
This is from the wing. Uren, and look at the white jerseys over there. Out there is Nalango. Sheedy, that is quite brilliant.
And I'll tell you what, the Brumbies rolling back to years, George Gregan would have been absolutely thrilled with this inside flick. And TJ Perinara doing his bit for the Red Hurricanes in the 80th minute to win the match. And Amy Cockayne, my former team, the Mighty Quins. Not only was it a grubber kick, but it's a second effort, a pick and go. She gets over the try line, and in the second division, the championship, the Cornish Pirates sent shockwaves right across the land, beating Saracens 25-17 in the opening weekend. Congratulations, Cornish Pirates.
Can I address the elephant in the room? Have you had a haircut?
I have, yes.
A little bit of sad news for Rob Baxter, who had a superb Buffon helmet last week. Well, that is gone. Mrs. Baxter pulling out her shares and giving Rob Baxter the full treatment. Drew Mitchell, one of the greatest personalities in rugby, but check out this skill. I know he's retired, but the boy's still got it. Pinging the crossbar from about 40 metres out. And Mike Brown, very good to his word. He said if Wales are to beat England at the weekend, he would train in a Welsh jersey all week. And how about a little bit of patchwork? There is some brilliant news because the World 7 Series is getting back, starting in Paris a little bit later on this year. So coming up, it's my Lions 15 against your Lions 15. And it's International Women's Day. Danielle Waterman picked 5 of the best. So last week we brought in the $1 million kick. What player would you select, past or present, to take a kick at goal to win yourself $1 million? And this is, of course, off the back of Reece Priesand here, who plays his rugby in England, who set the record for most consecutive kicks. He's now up to 36 and doesn't look like missing. But check out the cojones on Ryan Lonergan. The game went into 84 minutes, and this was the last act of the game before potential golden point. Have a look at this. Not only was the kick great, but check out the celebration. Who is the lad on crutches? He forgets that he's got an injury, he drops his crutches and he celebrates single-footed. And of course, you can watch all of Super Rugby AU on the World Rugby website. So last week I selected Neil Jenkins as my guy who would take on the $1 million kick, and of course it created loads of debate online. People from South Africa and from around the world were fairly upset that Morné Steyn didn't get a mention. Well, Morné, you broke my heart in 2009. You broke my heart. But the public have spoken, of course. At number 1, the Welsh wizard that is Neil Jenkins came out on top. At number 2, Dan Carter, one of the greatest to ever kick a ball and grace the field. At number 3, you remember him, Johnny Wilkinson. That drop goal in 2003 made him our 3rd pick. And at number 4, of course, it is the metronome that is Morné Steyn. I've just got to give a little shout out for people that voted for me. I came in with 0.6% of the votes. Not sure whether it was banter or not. Everyone remembers that kicks in Chelsea boots. But hey, I made the list, way down the list, but I made the list. So we've all got those annoying mates that are super talented at everything. So that fella is Ben Foden. We know he has a stunning voice. He's been on Pop Idol, he's been on X Factor, and I remember, because after you win your first cap, you have to sing a song. I did it, I was a disgrace. Ben Foden sang like an angel. In fact, he had people in tears. He is that good. However, he's moved from the UK and he's gone off to play MLR rugby in the US. However, he's had a pop at me about the Bronco Challenge and now the $1 million kick. Let's hear from the man himself, Ben Foden.
Ugo, you've already claimed to be the fastest, fittest rugby player on the planet with your incredibly unrealistic Bronco time. So the next challenge for you is the $1 million kick. I challenge you to knock one over from 60, 65 metres from dead in front of the post.
Well, fortunately, I've got a tee and I've got a rugby ball. So challenge accepted, Ben. So it was the 84th minute, third test. Farrell doesn't want it. Sexton, he don't fancy it. Finn Russell's out of his range. So up steps Monye, and this is the magic. The $1 million challenge in your face, Ben Foden. If you fancy having a go at the $1 million kick, get down to your local park, your local rugby club, and send your clips in. So it's International Women's Day and we've brought in Danielle Waterman, who's going to talk us through her top 5 women from around the world to look out for. So Nolly, it's over to you.
Thanks, Ugo. Here are my 5 stars from around the world that you should keep an eye out for in 2021. In the front 5, I've gone with one of England's young stars, Zoe Allcroft. I can't wait to see her perform in the Six Nations. In the back row, I'm going with USA captain Kate Zachary. This season, she's been playing her rugby at Exeter Chiefs in the Allianz Premier 15s and has been instrumental to so much of their success. For the halfbacks, I've gone with the French 9, Laure Sansou. Just like Anton Dupont, she is a fantastic player. From the centres, I've gone with England Red Rose absolute megastar Emily Scarratt. World Player of the Year in 2019, definitely one to look out for. In the outside backs, I've gone with the electric Portia Woodman, who is simply world class. We usually see her on the World 7 series carving up for the Black Ferns, but she recently turned her hand to 15s. Just seems unfair that someone could be that good.
So one thing that always gets people talking is the Lions, and of course last week I gave you my Lions 15 on form due to what's been going on in this season's Guinness Six Nations. So I'm going to read just a few of the comments. The Rugby Taylor says, not a bad team, so thank you for that, really appreciate the support. Joe Sims says, Tom Curry is too good to leave out, otherwise you've nailed it. Pleased again. Social media ain't that bad, is it? Dylan Peterson, easy peasy, simple, easy, box will whitewash. That lineup with no games needed to prepare. Okay, I've underestimated this. Anyway, Julian J. Grun says, is that the midweek team? He's having a laugh. And Christian Topping says, there is so much wrong with this team, it hurts me. He's actually in pain. Anyway, it's all about opinion. And that's absolutely fine. So we're going to give you the Lions team as selected by our viewers, and let's see which one you think is best. 5 of the team that I selected have made it into your team. So at number 1, Wyn Jones. At number 2, Ken Owens. So we're all in agreement with that. This is where it starts to get tricky. You've ripped out the spine of my team. Tyg Furlong, he comes in for Carl Sinclair. Johnny Gray comes in for Maritoji. Tyg Byrne comes in for Alan Wyn Jones. Big call, but it's your call. CJ Stander, Tom Curry and Sam Simmons wasn't a back row that I selected, but I can absolutely see why. Sam Simmons, he's on absolute flames at the moment. Ali Price is your 9. Finn Russell in agreement there at 10. Duan van der Merwe, the big old unit on the left wing. Robbie Henshaw, partners with Gary Ringrose, Louis Rees-Summit, everyone has to have him in this team, and Liam Williams instead of the Scotland captain, Stuart Hogg. So that's the team you've selected, and what I want to know is who would win between Team Monye and Team Comments. Get in touch and get involved. So a massive weekend of rugby coming up in the Northern Hemisphere as well as the Southern Hemisphere. The crunch is getting my juices flowing already this week. But thank you to everyone that subscribed, and make sure that you do and click the bell to make sure you get the notifications, and we'll be back this time next week. Take care.